You know, for over 60 years, one of the most unbelievable stories of World War II was just gone, buried deep in classified Gestapo files. It's the story of a woman who waged her own secret, one-person war against the Nazi regime. And she did it from the last place you'd ever expect, the smoky stages of Berlin's nightclubs. This is one of those histories that's as incredible as it is controversial.
I mean, that sentence really says it all, doesn't it? It just perfectly captures the brutal, gut-wrenching reality of Marlene Hoffman's mission. She wasn't out there with guns or bombs. Her weapon was biological, her battlefield was terrifyingly intimate, and her sacrifice, well, it was absolute.
So let's start at the very peak of her campaign. This was a time when the SS themselves gave her a nickname, a really chilling one, the Angel of Death.
Okay, I want you to picture this scene. It's Berlin, 1943. The Kit Kat Club is packed and it's full of high-ranking Nazi officers. They're all completely captivated by this singer they call the Black Angel. To them, she's just a beautiful, talented entertainer. What they have no idea about is that she's a saboteur, carrying out a mission to absolutely cripple the German war machine right from the inside.
And this number? This is the staggering result of her 18-month campaign. Conservative estimates, pulled from those declassified files, suggest she infected over 300 Nazi officers. And you have to understand, this wasn't random. This was a targeted attack aimed straight at the heart of the Reich's command structure.
So, the big question is, why? What on earth could possibly drive a person to do something like this? To really get her mission, we have to understand her life.
See, Marlene Hoffman wasn't born a saboteur. She was forged into one. She came from nothing, rising from poverty to become a real star in that artistically explosive, freewheeling cabaret world of Weimar Berlin. But then the Nazis came to power and they just destroyed her world. They called her art degenerate. So to survive, she adapted. She started singing these sanitized, patriotic songs for the very men she hated, all while nursing this quiet, very, very patient hatred.
And all that quiet hatred, it finally found a direction, one night in the winter of 1941, when her past literally came knocking on her door.
A Jewish doctor, Solomon Klein, a man Marlene had once been in love with, shows up at her apartment. He's on the run from the Gestapo. They'd raided his clinic. He knew he only had hours, maybe less, before they caught him. So he came to say goodbye and to deliver a weapon.
So what was in this little vial? It was a unique, weaponized strain of syphilis. See, Dr. Klein's research had managed to isolate a version that was incredibly aggressive. It caused severe neurological symptoms in just a few months, not the years it would normally take.
Now, this was the perfect weapon for sabotage. Think about it. The rapid onset of these severe symptoms, confusion, memory loss, vision problems, that would be absolutely devastating for a military commander. It wouldn't just make them sick, it would make them useless, sowing paranoia and chaos all through the Nazi chain of command in a way a bullet just never could.
So Klein wasn't just giving her a weapon. He was presenting her with this impossible, brutal choice. To use it, she had to become patient zero. She had to knowingly, willingly infect herself, sacrificing her own body, her own mind, all to take down the enemy. The moral math on that is just staggering.
As you can guess, Marlene made her choice, and that choice kicked off this methodical, chilling, one-woman campaign of biological warfare.
And let's be clear, she wasn't just a seductress. She was a strategist. In February 1942, she injected herself. And from that moment on, she followed this cold, calculated cycle. Identify a high-value officer, use her well-honed skills to get close to him, infect him, and then just disappear. She'd move on to the next target, letting the disease do the rest of the work.
And just look at who she was targeting. Again, this was not random at all. She went after men in critical positions, logistics for the Eastern Front, air command, even the horrific machinery of the concentration camps. Every single infection was a strategic strike, designed to cause the absolute maximum disruption.
But, of course, an attack on this scale couldn't go unnoticed forever. It wasn't long before the SS began to realize that something was going deeply, deeply wrong inside their officer corps.
By 1943, military doctors were reporting syphilis rates 3 times higher than normal among officers in Berlin. This was clearly no coincidence. The SS launched a top-secret investigation, and they put one of their most ruthless men, Heinrich Müller, in charge of finding the source.
So Müller starts connecting the dots. all these infected officers, they shared a common link, the Black Angel. Now, the evidence was circumstantial, sure, but the pattern was undeniable. And Marlene knew her time was short, so she actually accelerated her mission, taking more and more risks to infect as many as she possibly could before they finally caught her.
And when the Gestapo finally did capture her in February 1944, they got nothing. For 3 weeks, she endured brutal, horrific interrogation, but she never spoke a single word. Her silence was her final act of defiance, even as the very neurosyphilis she had weaponized was destroying her own mind. Marlene died in a Gestapo cell in March 1944. Her story was classified, buried. But, secrets like this rarely stay buried forever.
It's crazy. Her story was lost for over 60 years. Then a historian, Dr. Anna Bergman, just stumbles upon Mueller's classified report back in 2007. When she published her findings in 2010, it just ignited this fierce debate. Was she a hero? A war criminal? How should we remember her? It got so heated that a proposal to honor her at Yad Vashem, Israel's Holocaust memorial, was seriously debated and then ultimately rejected.
When you look at the quantifiable impact of what she did, it's just staggering. Records confirm over 287 cases among Nazi officers. That led to 73 career-ending disabilities and at least 41 deaths. And that's not even counting the unknown number of secondary infections that would have spread to wives, mistresses, and who knows who else.
And this really brings us to the central, really uncomfortable question of her legacy. Was she a hero who weakened an evil regime through the ultimate self-sacrifice? Or does using a biological weapon, which, caused collateral damage, make her methods morally indefensible? In a total war where entire cities were being firebombed, where exactly does an act like this fall on the moral spectrum? There are absolutely no easy answers here.
And the human cost was real. We can't forget that. Years later, the daughter of an officer Marlene infected shared this perspective. She said that while she understood why Marlene did it, she explained that her father's destruction also destroyed her family. It's just a heartbreaking reminder that even justified acts of war create these huge ripples of suffering.
So, we're left with this question. Marlene Hoffman literally turned her body into a weapon to fight a regime that represented absolute, pure evil. Her story forces us to ask, in that kind of fight, do the normal rules of morality even apply? Are there lines that even then should never ever be crossed?